What if I told you that Hollywood's biggest icons weren't just making movies, but making history in ways the industry never wanted you to know? From forbidden affairs to underground sex rings, from stars who seduced their way to the top to those who lost everything because of their darkest desires. This is the side of Hollywood they've spent decades trying to erase. Some of these stories are legendary. Some are whispered behind closed doors. But all of them will make you question everything you thought you knew about Tinseltown. And trust me, the last name on this list will leave your jaw on the floor. Before we dive in, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the truth Hollywood doesn't want you to hear. This is Behind the Fame, and we're about to expose the biggest sex freaks in Hollywood history. 1. Gary Cooper, the man who could have anyone. Gary Cooper was Hollywood's golden boy, the all-American heartthrob, the man women wanted and men wanted to be. He was smooth, charming, and impossible to resist. But what if I told you his conquests weren't just limited to the actresses Hollywood paired him with? Because according to whispers in the industry, Cooper had a list, not just of beautiful leading ladies, but of powerful men too. One unnamed co-star once admitted, "Nobody could resist Gary. It wasn't just women throwing themselves at him." And here's where it gets really crazy. Some believe Cooper's private affairs weren't so private after all. In fact, Hollywood insiders claim that one of Cooper's lovers tried to end it all after he suddenly cut ties with them. But the scandal never saw the light of day, because it was allegedly covered up by the studio. And if that's not enough, there's a theory that Cooper's career took a hit in the late 40s because he got too close to someone he shouldn't have. A powerful producer, a studio head, someone who had the ability to make or break stars. Could this be why he suddenly stopped getting top-tier roles? Was there a secret blacklist keeping certain names out of the history books? What do you think? Was Gary Cooper the ultimate Hollywood playboy? Or was there something even darker going on behind the scenes? Let us know in the comments. 2. Lupe Velez, suicide or assassination? Lupe Velez was passionate, fiery, the kind of woman who didn't just love, she devoured. She had affairs with some of Hollywood's biggest names, including Gary Cooper, whom she famously pulled a gun on after catching him cheating. But what happened to her next is the part that still haunts Hollywood today. Because in 1944, Lupe Velez was found dead. Official reports say it was suicide, a tragic ending to a dramatic life. But the deeper you dig, the more things stop making sense. Why do multiple accounts from people close to her say the crime scene didn't match a typical overdose? And why did one of her closest friends vanish just days after her death, never to be seen again? Here's where the theories get even darker. Some believe Velez was silenced after threatening to expose powerful figures in Hollywood. Others claim her death was staged to look like a suicide, but key details just don't add up. Why was the room so clean? Overdose victims don't usually arrange themselves so perfectly. Why were certain letters missing from her apartment? Letters that allegedly contained the names of her secret lovers, including someone very high up in the studio system. And here's the real bombshell. Some speculate Velez was pregnant at the time of her death, with a major Hollywood star's secret child. But the baby's name was never revealed. So was this really a tragic case of heartbreak? Or did someone make sure Velez never got the chance to tell her story? Could Hollywood have covered up a murder? Who was she really pregnant with? Drop your theories in the comments. And trust me, this list only gets crazier from here. Next up, a Hollywood starlet who was secretly involved with the MOB and may have paid the ultimate price for it. Before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us. Which of these Hollywood secrets do you think are real? We're reading every comment. 3. Louise Brooks, the silent film star who lived loud. Louise Brooks wasn't just a movie star. She was a rebellion wrapped in silk and scandal. With her jet black bob and hypnotic stare, she defined an era. But behind that iconic look, a woman who despised Hollywood and lived her life with no limits. She didn't just love sex, she worshipped it. Books, gin, and lovers were the three things she swore by, and she made sure she had plenty of all three. But what Hollywood doesn't want you to know is that Brooks wasn't just breaking rules, she was breaking boundaries. Her love life was as unconventional as her career. She left her first husband for a man wealthier, then left that man for another, until she decided marriage wasn't for her at all. She didn't just date men either. Her affair with Greta Garbo was the kind of Hollywood secret whispered behind closed doors. But here's where it gets even crazier, because there's one scandal that history books conveniently ignore. Brooks was once rumored to have participated in underground Hollywood parties, so wild that even today details are hard to verify. The kind of parties where actors and actresses signed NDAs before stepping in. But what's even more shocking? A mysterious letter, allegedly written by Brooks herself, went missing before it could ever be published. The letter supposedly exposed a secret society within Hollywood, one where power wasn't just measured by money, but by control over people's deepest desires. What was in that letter? And more importantly, who made sure it never saw the light of day? Was Louise Brooks just a wild spirit? Or did she stumble onto something Hollywood was desperate to bury? Let us know in the comments. 4. Marilyn Monroe, the blonde bombshell with deadly secrets. Marilyn Monroe is still Hollywood's most famous sex symbol. She was the fantasy of an entire generation, the woman every man wanted and every woman envied. But what if I told you that behind the glamour, the diamonds, and the flashing cameras, Marilyn Monroe wasn't just living a Hollywood dream, she was running from a Hollywood nightmare. Everyone knows she was involved with John F. Kennedy, but what most people don't realize is that Monroe wasn't the official story. A tragic overdose. But dig deeper. Her housekeeper instructed to clean the scene before calling for help? Certain FBI documents related to Monroe mysteriously redacted? A little red diary, one some believe it was taken by government agents before the police even arrived. Others claim Monroe wasn't alone on the night she died, but the people who were with her were ordered to stay silent. And then there's this. Weeks before her death, Monroe confided in a close friend that she was afraid for her life. She was Monroe. Do you believe Marilyn Monroe knew too much? And if so, what was in that missing diary? Let's hear your theories in the comments. 5. Vivien Leigh, the Hollywood queen who lost herself. Vivien Leigh was the epitome of beauty, talent, and elegance. The unforgettable face of Gone with the Wind, the woman who could command the screen with just a glance. But what Hollywood never wanted you to know is that her real-life story was even more tragic than the roles she played. Her obsession with perfection wasn't just a personality trait, it was a curse. She had insatiable desires, both in her career and in her personal life. She was magnetic, pulling in powerful men, including Sir Laurence Olivier, whom she was willing to chase across the world just to have. But as passionate as she was in love, she was equally destructive in heartbreak. Behind the scenes, Leigh suffered from severe bipolar disorder, but Hollywood didn't care about mental health. Instead of helping, they tried to keep her under control. Studio execs reportedly forced her into experimental treatments, some of which were later deemed borderline abusive. Electroshock therapy, tranquilizers, sedatives, anything to keep her looking picture perfect. But what's even more disturbing? There are whispers that Leigh had a secret breakdown so severe that she was locked away for months, with no official record of her whereabouts. One rumor even claims that at the height of her delusions, she believed she was still Scarlett O'Hara, trapped in a Hollywood fantasy that never ended. When she was finally released, she wasn't the same. The fire in her eyes had dimmed. Hollywood had used her up and thrown her away. But the biggest question remains: what exactly happened to her during those missing months? And why does no one in Hollywood want to talk about it? 6. Jane Mansfield, a starlet cursed by the devil? Jane Mansfield was Marilyn Monroe's biggest competitor. She was sexy, fearless, and willing to push boundaries that no other actress dared to cross. But what if I told you that her death wasn't just an accident, but something far more sinister? Mansfield wasn't just known for her looks. She was also known for her relationship with Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. Unlike other Hollywood stars, she didn't just flirt with the occult. She dove in headfirst. She attended LaVey's infamous rituals, posed for eerie photographs with him, and was even rumored to have taken part in dark ceremonies meant to bring power and success. But then, the unthinkable happened. LaVey reportedly placed a curse on her lover, Sam Brody, after Brody publicly mocked him. And not long after, Mansfield's car crashed, killing Brody instantly. Some claim she was decapitated on impact, though the official autopsy says otherwise. And here's where it gets even stranger. Right before her death, Mansfield was allegedly warned by multiple people to stay away from Brody, that he was marked. Some believe she ignored the warnings and paid the ultimate price. But was it really the curse? Or was someone else pulling the strings? Some conspiracy theorists argue that Mansfield wasn't just a victim of bad luck, but that her connections to LaVey put her on Hollywood's hit list. And if that's true, then who else was involved? 7. John Barrymore, Hollywood's first playboy or something worse? John Barrymore wasn't just a movie star. He was Hollywood's original bad boy. A man who lived for excess, women, alcohol, and power. He had it all, and he wanted more. He was married 4 times, but let's be real, marriage meant nothing to Barrymore. He was a serial womanizer, seducing his leading ladies, his friends' wives, and allegedly even underage actresses. Some claim his behavior was so notorious that studios had to quietly pay off young women to avoid legal trouble. But that's not even the worst part. There's a rumor that Barrymore had a disturbing obsession with the dead. Some say he would sneak into morgues just to look at lifeless bodies, fascinated by their stillness. Others believe he took things even further, allegedly stealing body parts for his own amusement. The most infamous story? After Barrymore's death, his close friends allegedly stole his corpse from the morgue as a prank, propping him up at a final party. Sounds insane, right? But here's the thing. Some believe Barrymore himself requested this before he died. So the question is, was John Barrymore just another Hollywood womanizer? Or was there something much darker behind his hedonistic lifestyle? What do you think? Just a wild man? Or something much creepier? Tell us in the comments. 8. Barbara Lamar. Too beautiful for Hollywood, too wild to survive. Barbara Lamar was so stunning that a judge once banned her from being in big cities, literally saying she was too beautiful to be safe. But if you think she was just another pretty face, you don't know half the story. Lamar didn't just break the rules, she rewrote them. She partied harder than any man in Hollywood, surviving on just 2 hours of sleep a night, and took lovers like they were fashion accessories. But behind the lavish lifestyle, there was a disturbing undercurrent. There are whispers that Lamar was involved in one of Hollywood's earliest sex cults, a secret society where the most powerful men in the industry indulged in their darkest fantasies. She allegedly knew things about directors, actors, and politicians that could have destroyed them if they ever came to light. And just when her career was peaking, she was suddenly gone. Officially, she died of tuberculosis at just 29. But some people aren't convinced. There are rumors that she was given a fatal overdose to ensure she never spoke about what she knew. Did Lamar's beauty make her a Hollywood legend? Or did it make her a liability? Was Barbara Lamar's death really from illness? Or was Hollywood cleaning up another loose end? Let us know. 9. Diana Dors, the British bombshell. Who knew too much? Diana Dors was called the British Marilyn Monroe, but unlike Marilyn, she didn't die young. She lived long enough to see the darkest side of Hollywood. Her mansion was infamous. It wasn't just a party house. It was a sex den, a surveillance hub, and a place where careers were made or destroyed. At her wild Hollywood gatherings, hidden cameras allegedly filmed everything. Every scandal, every affair, every dirty little secret. And here's where it gets terrifying. Those tapes? They disappeared? After Dors' death, her husband revealed that she hid the tapes somewhere safe. Footage that, if released, could have ruined some of the most powerful figures in entertainment and politics. But before he could retrieve them, he mysteriously died. The tapes have never been found. If those recordings ever surface, they could change everything we thought we knew about Hollywood's elite. Did Diana Dors take her secrets to the grave? Or is there someone out there who still has the tapes? 10. Daisy and Violet Hilton. Hollywood's most shocking love triangle, Daisy and Violet Hilton, weren't just Hollywood stars. They were conjoined twins who became vaudeville sensations. But the real story isn't their fame. It's the scandals behind closed doors. They shared everything: their careers, their dreams, and allegedly, their lovers. Some say they took turns with the same man, while others claim they engaged in secret affairs with different partners. But here's where things get really twisted. One of the twins allegedly fell in love without telling the other. And when the secret came out, it led to a violent, near-fatal fight that left their relationship permanently fractured. But the real mystery? There's a rumor that a powerful Hollywood executive once tried to separate them surgically, against their will. The reason? He was obsessed with one of them, but not the other. The surgery never happened, but their careers collapsed overnight. Hollywood abandoned them, leaving them penniless. Some say it was just bad luck. Others? They believe someone in power wanted them out of the picture. Were Daisy and Violet Hilton's careers ruined by fate? Or did Hollywood decide they were too complicated to keep around? And trust me, what's coming next will make your head spin. Next up, a Hollywood legend whose double life was so shocking, it was erased from history. Before you go, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tell us, which of these Hollywood secrets do you think are real? We're reading every comment. 11. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood's darkest secret. Clark Gable was the definition of old-school Hollywood masculinity. Women adored him. Men wanted to be him. But behind the iconic image, there was one secret that haunted him his entire life. In the 1930s, Gable had a passionate affair with former child star Loretta Young. The affair resulted in a pregnancy. But this was a different time. Having a child out of wedlock? Career suicide? So what did Young do? She hid the pregnancy, gave birth in secret, and adopted her own daughter years later to cover up the truth. The child, Judy Lewis, didn't even know Gable was her father until she was an adult. But here's the insane part. Some believe Gable wasn't just a willing participant in the cover-up. He was the one who demanded it. There are whispers that he even tried to pressure Young into something darker, an action that, if true, would change the way we see him forever. Young never fully revealed what happened, but she hinted at something sinister in later interviews. And the most chilling part? Gable never spoke about it. Ever. Was Clark Gable really the charming heartthrob Hollywood made him out to be? Or was there a secret he desperately wanted buried? And there you have it, the 11 biggest sex freaks in Hollywood history. But here's the thing. These are just the ones we know about. Hollywood is built on secrets, scandals, and cover-ups. And for every story that makes it to the surface, there are a dozen more that never see the light of day. So now it's your turn. Which of these stories do you believe? Who do you think had the most shocking secret? And do you think Hollywood is still hiding things from us today? Drop your theories in the comments below. We're reading every single one. And trust me, some of these stories are about to get even crazier. If you loved this deep dive into Hollywood's dark past, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. We've got more scandals, more exposés, and more secrets that Hollywood doesn't want you to know.